Keep it to yourself. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 1137 of What's She Up To Now, documenting my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar world to the online world of business, corporate America, lots of different businesses, like at least probably close to 30. I think 27 I counted one time, and so I say that, but I'd have to go back now and really count. Plus now at this point in my online adventure, I would have to count how many things and how many different things I've done online and tried online and continue to do or don't do online. Lots. There's been lots of those too. Some have been super duper fun and successful and educational and positive experiences. Others have been complete utter failures and flops. I remember the first course I developed on stress. I did it as part of my ClickFunnels certification training. And of course, I did everything right technically and had great content in it, but I didn't do things like figure out who wanted it and ask them what they wanted and who I was going to sell it to and who I was going to serve with that product. So when it came time to launch it, I got crickets. Nothing happened. That was my first foray into the online world, the online experience. And like everybody else, I was like, what the heck? I did everything right. I did everything they told me to do, but I didn't because I had missed key things. And I think one of the biggest things that we learn and the biggest lessons we learn is that we can all look at the same thing and see different things because we pick and choose due to our own unique reticular activating system and filtering system. What we see is only what we'll allow ourselves to see. So I totally missed that I should have gone out and want to go out. Hint, hint, this is a really good thing to know and remember. Whenever you're starting anything new, first decide who you want to serve and then ask them, find out from them, research, do some homework. What are their problems? What are their challenges that I have the unique ability to solve and help them with? And then go share that with them. Free at first or free in ways through social media and things to build relationships and get to know people and let people get to know you. And then go out and create bigger, better solutions and sell or offer those solutions to people. I say offer those solutions to people. If we're doing it that way, we really don't have to force feed or sell or hard sell anybody on anything. It's just a matter of finding the people that our exact right, our thing, our solution is for. So today I want to talk about, as my little lovely graphic, I'm practicing writing backwards since I've got an Android phone that I record on, and it doesn't flip like iPhones. You can actually flip your background and flip things. You notice I took all the words out of my background. I actually have words up higher in my background. It goes to the ceiling, but I make sure that we don't see that because I've had a couple of people complain that, oh, your graphics are always backwards. I hate that. So now I started to try to write backwards to help people. I'll figure out a different solution. Maybe I just do different types of videos. Maybe I do Camtasia or whiteboard videos and things and just share my slides or screen or something. But I guess I've gotten to the point where I actually don't mind hopping on and talking and sharing some ideas and thoughts. So today I want to talk about keep it to yourself, keeping it to yourself, keeping things to ourselves. Now, I remember as a kid, we're told to keep things to ourselves, right? We're told to, not share confidential family information with other people. We go to work, we get a job, no matter where we work, whatever level. Even I think I remember at my first job, my very first job at the Hudson Theater, I think my boss said, don't tell, so-and-so, the other people that you're working with, how much I'm paying you. Now, I don't know if it was because I was making less or making more than them, but it was always everything even in corporate America too, it was always a big secret how much everybody earned. I still don't understand that because probably because it was women made less than men, and they always have traditionally. And is that right or fair? Topic for another day. Interesting debate, but also a waste of time and energy if we're not going to find ways to affect change in that area. So keep it to yourself. We're taught and we're socialized and we're indoctrinated into keeping certain types of information to ourselves. And in some cases, that's great and good and fine. In other cases, not so much. When keeping secrets or not telling secrets or keeping confidence for people is important, but it's also a burden. If somebody shares something with you, it's hard to not share it. My son-in-law and my daughter, twice now they've been pregnant. They lost their first baby and they just had a beautiful baby girl this last month. And they've told me both times that they were pregnant before anybody else. do you know how hard it is when it's going to be, your grandbaby, to not want to tell anybody that you've got a grandbaby on the way? And I understand why people do that, but I love a good secret, but not when it impacts me in my life and how I want to think and feel about something, especially when it's in a positive and delightful way, like having a grandbaby. But we learned with their first baby that not every baby is meant to survive, and something happens for no fault of anyone's. Stuff just doesn't, develop properly, and we don't have that little wonderful human being in our life. So it's important to be able to keep things to yourself. Now, I didn't tell anybody on either occasion until I got their permission to. But then when I got their permission to, do you think I didn't tell my sisters and my mom and my, everybody else that it was my okay to tell? Because grandchildren are absolutely awesome. If you don't have any, wait till you do. They're so fun. I loved having kids, but kids are a lot of work and a lot of responsibility. Grandchildren are responsibility and work, but you give them back. You don't keep them all the time, and so you can have more fun. And we're so much more relaxed, or at least I am so much more relaxed as a grandparent than as a parent. Although I don't ever want anything to happen to them during my watch. So I'm still a little paranoid like I was as a mom. But keep it to yourself. What things do we keep to ourselves that we maybe shouldn't keep to ourselves? If we're struggling and having a hard time with something, anything, any area or aspect of our life, whether it's our business, our emotional well-being, our mental state, our mental well-being, our physical well-being. I mean, how long do you wait before you go to the doctor? You got something's off, you got symptoms. How long do you wait before you go to the doctor? Depends, right? It depends how serious you think it is. Now, I got a mother-in-law, ex-mother-in-law, who Googles everything. So to many people, Google and the internet have been their friend, but to others, especially when it comes to diagnosis, people will go online now and try to diagnose themselves, which is okay, except they don't try to not diagnose themselves. They go and they search everything possible to find out what's wrong with them. Now, why do we search so hard to find out what's wrong with us? Because then we think we can fix it. Guess what? We're not broken. No matter what's going on with us, we absolutely positively are not broken. Do we have to go through some things, some experiences to figure our life out? Absolutely. But it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with us. That is just the nature of being a human being. So sometimes we keep things to ourselves too long. I mean, if we are challenged and needing help, and I'm guilty of this as well. I'm legally blind, and at some point I kept it to myself for a long time, but at some point I needed to give up my driver's license, which meant I needed to ask people, or with COVID, Uber and Lyft are out the window, and taxi cabs didn't go to where my whole house was. So I had to make some accommodations and changes and ask for help, which is a challenge for some of us. But at some point, do you just suffer in silence and unnecessarily? I'm coming to believe that all suffering and a whole lot of pain, a huge percentage of the pain that we experience, is not required. It's absolutely positively optional. Now, it's hard to look at somebody who's in excruciating pain and say pain is optional, struggle is optional. I think struggle is absolutely positively optional. We make ourselves struggle for all kinds of things that we put all these rules and these expectations on ourselves that we absolutely positively don't have to struggle through. We're taught and we're told most of our life, at least in my experience, life is hard. You have to struggle, you have to grind, you have to work hard to get what you want. And that's absolutely positively one big fat lie. It's a lie. It's a lie that other people tell us. Sometimes it's a lie to protect themselves. Sometimes it's a lie to protect ourselves from actually going for the things that we want. Sometimes it's a false belief that other people have given us and we've adopted because we believe them. We saw them work hard. We saw them strive. We saw them struggle their whole life, and they really didn't get very far. And it wasn't because they had to struggle. It's because of all the beliefs that kept them doing the same things over and over again that weren't really working for them. Maybe they'd get a teeny bit ahead and then a few steps back. Then they'd make a few more strides forward and then a few steps back. But they never really got to where they wanted to go because they didn't know that they could. They didn't know that they had permission, just because they're alive and a human being, to create absolutely anything and everything they want in their life. Me too. Do I hold myself back? Do I have limiting beliefs? Absolutely. Do I think they're limiting beliefs? Heck no. Our beliefs are just our beliefs. We believe that they are 100% real and they create our reality. So when somebody questions us on something we hold strongly and near and dear to our heart, we get really defensive. We get upset. We might even fight them, at least with our words, to push back on things that we believe in. But one of the most powerful exercises each and every one of us can do anytime is to ask ourselves, where did that belief come from? Why do I have that belief? Do I honestly even believe that anymore? Following my sudden cardiac arrest, I did a lot of soul searching and trying to figure out how I had gotten my life in such a funky spiral that I could actually drop dead. And then, what the heck? Why am I so fortunate and lucky and grateful to just be here every single day, living my life, and that I didn't check out forever when I hit my, around my 50th birthday. Well, it was not around my birthday, but when I was 50. Why am I still here 10, soon to be Friday, 11 years later? Why is that? What's the explanation? And that led me on a journey to say, okay, I need to learn and figure this out. And I need to really look at what the heck am I doing? And how do we know what we believe? How do we know what we are thinking about most of the time? All we have to do is look at, honestly, put the magnifying glass on and look at the results we're getting in our life right now. Are we exactly where we want to be? If the answer is no, then somewhere in our life, we either have a belief that isn't serving us or beliefs that are conflicting. Most of us have conflicting beliefs inside of us, in our subconscious, running both their programs all the time, beating each other up, knocking heads over what to do and what not to do. Maybe you know on a conscious level that it's important to be decisive and to be able to make quick decisions. But on another level, subconsciously, you have an overwhelming desire and need to be safe and to avoid risk because your mom or your dad or your friend or your aunt or your uncle or an acquaintance or a significant other told you that you have to be safe no matter what. You have to always be careful. And so you've got safety bumping up against desires to create more. And whatever's going to win is whatever story and belief you have is stronger and is more prevalent at the time you're thinking about looking at an opportunity or doing something. So I would love to know people's experience with keep it to yourself. What are things you believe that you always had to keep to yourself? And then what are things that you'll share? It's interesting to go around different parts of the country and different countries, I would imagine, that I haven't been to, how much people are open to sharing and how much they are closed and they keep things tight to their vest. And what that tells us about ourselves and about the people in that area. What does it show us? What does it tell us? I think the more open we are, at least open and honest with ourselves, the more we can grow and become the person we want to become, the people that we want to see in the world, the person that we want to be the example of in the world to make the world a better place. Just me. Everybody doesn't want to make the world a better place. I have finally come to that realization. There are people that just don't want to make the world a better place. They want to carve out their little niche, their little piece of the pie, do everything for themselves, and they don't really care about other people or the impact they have on the world. There are people like that. There are people on all sorts of the spectrum for absolutely anything you can imagine, and things you can't even imagine, right? So we need to not think that people think like we do, because they don't. But that's the most natural thing, is we all think other people think like us, and they absolutely positively don't. We have to remember, I remind myself every day, everybody's on their own journey. Everybody's on their own little path to experiences in this life. And who am I to judge? Who am I to criticize? Who am I to, if it's not affecting me in a negative way or impacting me personally negatively, it's none of my business, right? If it's, okay, and if it's impacting my kids or my grandkids, it is my business. If something negatively impacts them. Otherwise, boom, just kind of stay out of it and go with the flow. So that was what I was thinking about today as I thought, well, what am I really thinking about? And I'm taking a couple of different trainings and programs kind of right now simultaneously. Plus, I'm learning things for clients that they want help with and guidance. And so my brain is getting overloaded these days. I thought I'd be a little bored not doing a challenge right now, but I'm like, yikes, when would I fit my own challenge in? And of course I would. If I said I was going to do it, I would fit it in. But I'm also mapping out, and I need to be spending more time working on, okay, what do I want our next 30-day Get Up and Go challenge to look like? Do I want it to be focused? I'm leaning toward focusing the whole thing on business. And then I will do it again in June. And I think then we'll focus on another area or aspect of our life that's important to all of us, maybe wealth or finances or relationships, because those are areas that I personally want to always be improving in. So I think it'd be kind of fun to focus the whole 30 days to business, to relationships, to physical health or well-being. Probably should do physical health or well-being first, but I'm not a fitness person or an expert in those areas, so I'd have to get more guests and more people and experts involved. So I'll probably not do that first, but because I am kind of a business person and have 47 years of experience in different types of businesses and industries, so I'm perfectly comfortable talking about and sharing that, and then bringing in people and experts and ideas on my own for 30 days, not a problem. So we'll look at that. So I need to map that out. Today, our Do One Thing Every Day, our 365-day annual challenge this year is to do one thing every day that centers you or centers me. And today was about bliss, following your bliss. And I remember the first time I probably heard this was in the movie The Secret. And Lisa Nichols said it in the second version of the movie that I saw, and I saw that one first. And I was like, what the heck does that even mean, follow your bliss? And it means just go and follow the things that make you feel good. Do the things that make you feel good. Follow, and that's the trail that you're supposed to be on. That's the path that you're supposed to be on. Not all these other things that make us feel rotten and make us, we feel like we should or we have to do something. If I feel like I have to do something, or I should, I don't want to do it, even if it's kind of something I like to do. It's hard when other people expect you to do something and it's not really in alignment with what you want to do. On the other hand, it's super easy to do the things that you love and the things that you want to do and the things that you're excited about. Even if it's the hardest thing you've ever done, it feels easy and you love every minute of it because it's something that inside of you really want to do. So today was about following our bliss. And our expression and idiom, which sort of led to my topic today for this whole, video or podcast episode, whatever you're listening to, is if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And I always liked, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. And I've used that. I've used it on my kids. I'm sure I taught that to my kids. I'm sure I learned it from my mom and my dad and my kindergarten teacher and bosses and other people along the way, because it's a well-known expression and reminder of, hey, make sure that you're in your lane. If it's not your business and you're not going to share something with someone because you're intending to help them, just walk on by. Don't say anything. Keep it to yourself, whatever works or expression works for you as a reminder. And I'm definitely thinking these days, if you don't have anything kind to say, or if you don't have anything constructive or valuable, and guess what? Not valuable to you, but valuable to the other person. If I am commenting on something or giving somebody feedback, I want to always be giving it with the intention of absolutely positively helping and serving that person. I don't want to just spew out my opinion on something. I want to be able to help and serve people. And if it doesn't do that, if it's not for their benefit, and I mean for their benefit, then just don't do it. Keep it to yourself. Don't say it. If it's just to get something off your chest, tell it to the pillow, right? Tell it to your pillow. Follow your dream. Tell it to your dog or cat. But don't inject yourself in other people's business if it's none of your business. So that is our work for today. I am already late for a call, so I'm going to hop on that. Go out, make it an absolutely amazing day. If you've got a challenge or a problem or something online or offline business related, or some of the things that we've talked about, any of the topics we've talked about, and you'd like my opinion or my 2 cents, even though it's none of my business, but you'd like some guidance or somebody to ask you questions and help, hit me up in the comments or direct message me below. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow to share what I'm doing now every single day as I transition from the brick and mortar world to the online world. Have an absolutely amazing and awesome day, and follow your bliss. Find something to be happy and joyful about, and move toward that. Move toward the things that make us feel good and away from the things that don't make us feel good. If we just all were to live on that basis, the world would be a much, much better place. All right, catch you tomorrow.